Hi, hello, this is Jules the Human here, and welcome to the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. I'm one of your hosts, Jules the Human, and every week we go out into the world and watch a little bit of anime. And this week we are discussing the end of Odd Taxi, episodes 10 through 13. We are finishing up the anime. We're going to pick a brand new anime. We have so many to pick from, and I am not going on this anime journey alone. I have my co host, Matt Galley, here with me. Matt, how odd is your taxi?
Man, that taxi was odd as frick, man. that was
So,
that was
yeah.
something. I would say that was an experience for sure.
It was an experience, and I really, I'll say off the bat, if you didn't make it all the way, you definitely should try. I know there's, I don't know, we'll get into it. We're going to talk a lot about the ending, but if this is your first time watching, we go ahead and talk a little bit of anime. We go through about the first season of an anime, and then we give it a review, and we put down like what we gave it, what we think it is, whether we should recommend it or not. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the end of Odd Taxi and picking a brand new anime. Here's the list of anime here. I forgot to grab something really quick. I'm going to put it in there. One second. But this is the list of anime that we're going to be picking from. And one of these anime is going to be the next one that we watch all together. And we would definitely suggest that you try and watch it as well. We go through 4 episodes a week. It's not too much. 4 episodes within 7 days. Then we come back here and talk about it. And we would love for you to join in the discussion, whether here live on Twitch, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman on Thursdays, maybe changing soon, but also on YouTube and Spotify. You can watch the Jules and Matt Anime Hour on Spotify and on my YouTube channel. But so much to get into. I've been so excited to talk about this since I finished watching. So let's get into Odd Taxi episode 10. Episode 10, We Have No Tomorrow. What happens in We Have No Tomorrow?
So in episode 10, Nagashima approaches Shin Bagaki, trying to convince him that they should join up and become a new comedy duo. Yano raps about how Dobu raised him and showed him the ropes of the criminal world, but now how his fangs have grown dull, and how Sekiguchi lost because of his lack of experience. Also noting how Amai is posting that he lied about the winning lottery ticket. Otokawa confronts Yamamoto, which leads Yamamoto to attack him, with Shirakawa coming to the rescue just in time, forcing Yamamoto to concede and accept Otokawa's demands. Otokawa argues with Shirakawa afterwards, after she defends Dobu's character. Otokawa then discovering he's being tracked by GPS. Later on at the sauna, Otokawa is caught off guard when another patron calls him out by name. Sekiguchi briefs Yano on how he was able to triangulate Imai's location, and Dobu briefs Otokawa on his plan known as Odd Taxi.
Oh, he said it.
Yamamoto confirms Dobu's hunches, and Otokawa gives Yamamoto a piece of info to help Otokawa take everyone down in one move. Then going on to warn Imai about the oncoming danger, ensuring him to just remain calm and go with the flow. Gariki continues to seek insight about Otokawa's past, and the news broadcasts that the found body in the bay belongs to a member of Mystery Kiss. Otokawa positive that they're reporting the wrong person.
Thank you, Cosmo, for the hydrate. I'll drink water on camera here. So a lot of like interesting dealings, right? Otokawa's like, again, like with this show, they present us with so many different characters and then them sort of mix and matching conversations, moving. It's sort of like a game of chess a little bit. They're moving these pieces, sort of trying to get the upper hand because there's a big heist coming up and there's a lot of people that have eyes on it. And one of them is Otokawa. One of them's either the manager, Dobu. There's Imai, who's kind of just stuck in the middle of it all. And it's just so interesting.
The unluckiest lucky guy in the show.
Yeah,
he won the lottery.
He literally won the lottery, and he's lucky. And this ends up to be sort of his undoing, we so think, because
it's also like, trying to say something about like, hey, when you have all these great fortunes befall you, you shouldn't just be broadcasting everything openly online where people can easily track you down.
Which I don't know why did he do that? That
Well, like, why did he post that he won the lottery in the first place?
yeah.
Because he was announcing that he was like gonna use all of it on Mystery Kiss or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
I guess
like
so.
a show of I'm the super fan.
The super fan to be for Mystery Kiss. Otokawa asks the manager to side with him. The manager tries to kill Otokawa in this crazy business with capoeira. Sh- Shikawa, she goes and saves him. And the plan is called Odd Taxi. When they explained this plan, when Dobu was trying to explain what was going on to Otokawa, I honestly, this is one of the things I would say, like a knock on this anime, is that it is confusing a little bit because they do have some longer exposition, and later on they do cover explain it a little bit better, and they explain it what's going down. And it, when I see it actually in action, it's fine. But there's been a couple of times in this anime where I was kind of confused on the setup of things, and I would say, um,
I had to hit the, I had to go back a few times at a couple points when like I was reading things, but like my brain wasn't like processing it as quickly as the show was trying to like deliver the next bit of information. And I'm just like, okay, hold on, hold on. I just want to
yeah,
make sure I got all that before I continue and then make improper assumptions with
yeah,
incorrect information.
yeah. It was just Uh, it was I don't know. There's not much I can say bad about this anime. That's one
That's the
thing. And
one thing.
I also see why people would stop watching. But I would prefer you don't. Now seeing what the end result is, I would say if you stopped watching earlier, that it is a worthy experience, even though some of those things kind of put me off too, like to where I'm like, oh, okay, we're just kind of I don't know what's really going on, like what's happening. And I do commend the show for not holding my hand, but on the other hand, it was it was a little confusing, and I had to live in the confusion for a little bit. It made me uncomfy, not knowing what all was going on, and I just had to kind of sit with it and be okay with that in this anime, which is interesting. And we got the information that the body was identified and it was a Mystery Kiss member. For sure, the manager's like, kind of like, what's this? This is going to be the end for me somehow. We still don't know to the extent of his connection to the body, but we got to keep going. Episode 11. If we could go back to that day, what happens in episode 11?
We go back in time to get the context of Mystery Kiss coming together from the perspective of Rui, leading up to the death and cover up of Yuki Mitsuya. Yano would assist the group in exchange for a portion of the idol's profits. Mystery Kiss would hire a stand in for Yuki that would serve as a replacement this close to the idol group debuting. Now, in the present day, the body found in the bay gets identified as Yuki, leaving the general public with questions. The controversy over Mystery Kiss leaves Yamamoto busy with damage control PR on the day of the bank exchange. Otokawa again confronting him over his recognition of the girls. Yano escorts Amai to the bank, Amai requesting to watch the Mystery Kiss conference. Baba wishing Rui good luck before telling uh, Shin Bagaki that they should split up. Big Damon and Otokawa touch base before Odd Taxi begins, and we see Gariki continuing to try to get some more information on Otokawa's possible condition, acquiring a childhood diary that he used to write in.
So up until now, we didn't know the like solidifying connection between Yano, Mystery Kiss, the manager, and all this stuff. And this whole what they do well in this anime are the backstories, the flashback stuff. It's really interesting to take a look back, and it gives us a lot of information, especially in this one because we see a very cool third member of Mystery Kiss, and even Rui was plotting to kill her, which is interesting. Do you think Rui would have done it? I honestly go back and forth. She was like, I was thinking about doing it because I want to be the only girl. I want to be the top girl. And that one little manager or whatever was like, make her the top girl. And she lost her spot. Do you think Rui would have been able to do it?
No, I don't think she I don't think she was gonna be able to go through with it just off the fact that she said I was gonna ask her, and then if she refused, I was gonna do it. I think that
Gotcha.
innately that like she's already like, not there,
Not about it.
not about it, because if she was about it, she'd just be about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Um,
just think it's jarring though that, and I'm unfortunately drawing a blank on her name, but the girl that was running the games, the Badger games or whatever, how she mentioned that Rui would probably kill somebody to, make it further
yeah,
up to the top, and like, oh, maybe she already has, but then it's like the other girl in the group actually
and that was a good
makes happen.
misdirection.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I mean, I kind of once they started introducing the new girl, I was kind of already apprehensive about her, about how she was the fourth member that would have gotten signed. She was just one off short, and I was like, maybe it's her. I did think that at the time,
Yeah.
and I was
But
like,
like the thing
okay.
is that even though that's the fourth girl, to us, the audience, when the show starts and we see Mystery Kiss for the first time, she's already that person in the group,
Hmm.
because the first thing we see, the show opens up with Yuki's body getting dumped into the bay.
Hmm.
So, but we never meet this character until this happens. For intents purposes, we never meet
Yeah.
the real Yuki until episode 11.
Yeah. Until the back story and
Yeah.
stuff. We get some more information as well about Otokawa and why he's afraid of the water because he was in the car that his parents died in. He was in a car accident there. And then Mystery Kiss in a wild move do kind of admit that they have a fake Yuki. Was there a better way to do that? Was there a better
No, I
way?
mean the cat's out of the bag at that point.
The cat's in the
Pun not
ocean.
intended.
What are
pun
you
not
talking about?
pun not intended. The cat's out of the bag, and what
Literally out
else
of
do
the
they have
body
to do?
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like they still had the I don't know if it'd be considered plausible deniability that like, hey, but she was just missing.
Uh-huh.
So we didn't know that she was dead. We just thought she was going to turn back up someday, and then we were just going to, move on. Everybody's hands are clean, whatever. But this close to our idol group debuting, if we lost one of our core three members, then all of their efforts would have been just, fallen flat on its face. And I think that's from a business standpoint and from a commercial standpoint, like that all makes sense.
That makes sense, but it's wild that a nobody group was like worried. Well, I guess I don't know because Mystery Kiss didn't have any fans, so like it could have just been two. Like who
Yeah.
cares? I don't know. They
Yeah.
went to like such extensive lengths, and then they ultimately it was their downfall here. We knew, like the manager knew. The manager had to know that this was going to be the crux. Once things happened or once things were found out, this is the end. Like
Yeah.
there's no
And
other.
that's why he kept trying to get the dash cam footage, I'm pretty
There's
sure.
some interesting stuff. There's so much to talk about at the end
Yeah.
with the dash cam, who knew what, and all this stuff. I was like, oh, this is so good. Honestly, we were just sitting there at the end, and I was like, just putting everything together in my mind because of all this craziness that happens later on. Hello, everybody watching on Twitch. Thank you so much for joining us. We are talking about the end of Odd Taxi. And we're going to pick a new anime by the end of the show. I'm so excited. So that's how episode 11 is kind of setting up for plan Odd Taxi. Poor Dashcam Chan, yeah, just getting tossed around everywhere. But what is the crux of Gariki trying to find more information about Otokawa? Is it that he's his friend? Is it that he's concerned? Like,
Yeah.
what's his main motive here?
I mean, he kept telling him for the longest time. It's implied that he's been telling him for the longest time, like, you should be going to a bigger hospital. Like, I just run a small clinic, and
Because he's been seeing him for like 2 years, right?
yeah,
That's what it established.
exactly. And he's like, just I forget the exacts, but when he's just trying to visit Otokawa, he managed to catch the landlord in passing, and then that kind of opened the door to this rabbit hole that he's just been going down. And I do think
Mhm.
it's because he I'm bought in that it's his friend, and that he genuinely cares about him and is trying to help his friend break out of whatever this insomnia trench that he's dug into, which is much we learn is much more bigger than just insomnia.
Yeah. So let's get into episode 12 here. Not enough, because Odd Taxi happens and so much more. So what happens in episode 12? Not enough.
Episode 12. Odd Taxi commences. Homo sapiens break down on stage. Tanaka gets his revenge. Little Damon arrests Big Damon. Yano and Sekiguchi are in pursuit of Otokawa.
Some big plot points here. First, I want to start off with like the smallest plot point. Homo sapiens is an interesting arc to look at, but like what was the reason for this? What was the reason for this little plot to get all the way to the end and us still following them for what's the bigger guy's name? I don't know his name. I never learned his name. No,
The bigger,
the smaller one.
Shin Bagaki.
Shin Bagaki, his whole story, I thought he would go a little more crazy. Was kind of how they set it up, at least in my mind. But him just forgetting his line, him being the ultimate reason why they didn't go forward, was good. But Baba needs to like drop him. Like, I don't know. I don't like them as friends. I think Baba does deserve better. But then again, it goes to Baba's character that he wants to see the good and he wants to be happy and just enjoy life as it is without any forethought about how his life is going to go, which is a way to live, I guess, for him. But like, I don't know. It was just an interesting storyline, but that probably the weakest storyline, but
Yeah,
only
I'd say
because
so. Even weaker than and less compelling than Tanaka's revenge plot that's going on.
Sure,
Tanaka gets his revenge
because there's somebody literally trying to kill somebody else from that can date back to an eraser when he was at grade school. But like, this story was it was cute. Like I enjoyed this whole like comedic thing.
Yeah, but like, what does it mean at the end of the day?
Yeah, because this is sort of like the end for them, and then they get like one little scene after. I don't get that part. I don't know.
I no, yeah. I guess that like I like seeing it play. I liked seeing their story play out. I liked seeing them each kind of like have these separated little journeys that they went on of like kind of, I guess, discovery. And I think that's what that's just trying to set up with them, is that like, hey, even getting too meta, even when you have like somebody who you spend so much time, revolving around with a certain aspect, you still need to find your own ways to be your own person or something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely what their story was telling there. It was interesting to see the whole like contest and stuff, and they were actually getting laughs and stuff, and they probably would have gone on if he didn't forget his lines. Going into the more compelling stuff, one thing, we see Don Raku for the first time as a full person, not just like a little eraser. He's mourning the death of his daughter and all the information that's coming out. We don't really see him again, though, which is interesting. We see him the one shot, and we're like, okay, that's him. We find out that Dobu was Ditch 1-1, who was the one that conned Tanaka. Yeah, the one that conned Tanaka all the way back when he was a kid. And like, how this was wild.
How much more full circle can things come?
This was crazy.
And then you have another instance of like when they showed Otokawa the picture earlier and he recognized Kakihana from the back. It was kind of like the same thing where he was able to recognize Dobu from the profile picture, which was just this dark silhouette of what, like, us, the audience, like, oh yeah, that's Dobu. Like, we can tell that too, but implications later, he's the only one that can see that.
And I correctly identified him. And this is believable for Dobu up until a point to where he spent so much money and time playing Zootopia or whatever the game is called. I was like, okay, he was running cons back then, and he conned a kid out of a bunch of money, and whatever. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But to some point, Dobu was playing this gotcha game for realsies, and he was spending money on this gotcha game for realsies. And it's like, I don't know. Okay, that's kind of funny. I mean, everybody has their own little thing. Maybe Dobu's was having little farm animals, which is kind of funny to think about. I honestly didn't think it was him. Like at first, I was they had us
Yeah, me
questioning.
either. Yeah, I believe that he was like, when he was like, "No, that's not me." I was like, yeah,
I thought
let's
it
move
was
on.
Tanaka just going a little crazier.
Yeah,
He's like, it was how much do you play? How let me see your phone. Show me your phone. And then they find out that it was in fact Ditch who was Dobu, and Dobu had all the courage there to face Tanaka because he was sure he did not have a shot because he counted all of them. And I was like, "Ooh, that's good." I was like, "Good deduction here from Dobu." I was like, "Dope, okay,
dude.
you're right."
To me, that moment brings me back to the Clue movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Mm.
In the Clue movie, because in the Clue board game there's like a revolver, and in the Clue movie, at the end of the movie, when the gun's being kind of used in the final act, they're like, there's no more bullets in that gun, and they're arguing, there's going, no, it's 1 + 2 + 2 + 1, no, it's 1 plus blah, blah, and they're just
Yeah,
all arguing over how many shots, and I was like, who's gonna argue with them? And
yeah.
then but he counted it right the first time. I didn't go back to count, but we find out later that even though he pulled the trigger and a bullet fired, it was actually
The
little,
sixth shot.
yeah,
And
it
it was
was
little Damon that shot him. That's why we never saw who it was that shot him back on the wharf.
yeah,
We just heard a shot and we're like, okay, cool. We assume that's Tanaka because that's the only gun we've really seen. And then it turns out that it wasn't him. And that was such a just cool moment as well. It's like
all the
it
reveals.
all the reveals in these two episodes are so insane. And I Otakawa ultimately leaving Dobu there and he was gonna walk away is like some Saw shit. I was like afraid of Otokawa because it was literally Saw 1 where homie gets up out of the tub and then he's like just walking away and he closes the
Close
door
the
behind him
door,
to
yeah.
die. It felt like that. I'm getting goosebumps because Otokawa is just seeing him on the ground and he was like, "You should go to a real hospital and they should be here soon." And he just walks away. And it's like, what do you do? That's so insane. He's like, it catches up, man. Everything catches up. So here it is. Here's your fate, which is a baller move, but it makes me very scared of Otokawa. It's like mastermind sort of thing. But he'd even like the way that he did it, he set it up this way, but I don't know if he thought it was gonna play out this perfectly.
No, yeah, no,
It was
no way.
impossible. He had all the luck on his side, even to him
Having the eraser.
having the eraser since episode 1 and it falling out of his pocket, still having the eraser. And he's like, where it tends to knock into a frenzy, and then he runs off screaming because he actually killed somebody, somebody that he's been holding in, and he found him. And here it is. And he finally got like his full character arc here. And now he's like, I don't know what to do. What do
Yeah.
I do with myself? Because there's nothing left. That's so cool. Such a wild arc for them. Um, uh, the boss has, if we found out as well. Oh, from this scene here, Big Damon and Little Damon confronting each other. Um, I still don't really like Big Damon. I don't know what
No.
he was trying to pull in this scene.
Yeah.
He was like, "You're a bad guy. You're a bad guy, but I'm gonna go and you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have sided with Dobu." I'm like, "What are you doing, Bo? What are you doing, man? What's going on?" Claire says that's a great power to have. Karma catches up with you right now. We find out that the boss has a little duck, and the little duck means when you stop receiving payments from the orphanage. And then we find out how far back that the Damon brothers sort of go with Otokawa without really knowing that they were both orphans, sort of by a car accident. And we don't get much more about the Damon's backstory. It's just kind of implied there.
Yep.
So that goes on into episode 13. Odd Taxi, honestly, again, Odd Taxi, the whole thing, the whole heist didn't make sense. But then when I saw it in action, it made sense. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
the fake bills, counterfeit bills, real bills. And I was like, oh, this played out well. This played out almost perfectly to what Dobu had, other than Otokawa putting the tracker into the black van, and Tanaka showing up for Dobu.
That's right.
Okay.
Little GPS.
Episode 13. What happened?
Episode 13. So Gariki gets his hands on Otokawa's childhood diary. After growing up in a neglectful household and surviving an attempted triple suicide attempt by his mother that would end up with both of his parents passing away, Otokawa wakes up in the hospital after this tragic event, seeing everybody as animals, interpreting the doctor as a crocodile, himself as a and himself as a walrus. Otokawa ends up being Otokawa back in the present day ends up being chased down by Yano to a dead end where he drives off into the bay. Shirakawa dives under to save Otokawa, and when he reawakens in an ambulance, he can see everyone as the humans that they are. Loose ends are tied up as the story comes to a close, giving us a final scene involving the Yuki stand-in, which is revealed that she was the one who murdered the original Yuki. And with Rui arrested, she has plans of becoming a solo act. She sits in Otokawa's taxi and
I don't have
cut
the
to
picture of where
black.
to go. It didn't get uploaded. Hold on 1 second. The final shot.
The final
is perfect. It's uploading right now.
I think I have the second to last shot though.
Yeah, here it is. Wait. What? This was so good.
I couldn't stop tears rolling down my face for the first entire half of this episode.
Oh,
Not even
really?
joking. Yes.
Oh.
That shit hit hard. Seriously. Big time.
Because they do the flashback with Otokawa, how he hated his upbringing, how his parents kind of sucked, how he only saw, and like we can all kind of relate. Like,
yeah, we can all relate on a certain level, but like honestly, not even on the relation level, just like on the I've seen Otokawa like go about his like I've seen him deal with such a gambit of people and events, and like I like this person and he's such a cool person, and I hurt that he had to hurt that much.
And to be in the car with his parents as they die, and he just didn't know it, and he just doesn't know. And I was just so like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing? So he gets diagnosed. We find out because of Gariki and getting more information about him that he has visual agnosia. I looked this up, and there was like a big Reddit thread that I saw as well as I looked it up that people say that he got misdiagnosed. There was a different diagnosis that he should have been given, but the diagnosis that he got was visual agnosia, which is a real thing. And I got the definition here: a condition in which a person can see but cannot recognize or interpret visual information due to a disorder in the parietal lobes. For example, affected individuals may not be able to identify a set of keys by sight, but can identify them upon holding them in their hands. Some researchers separate visual agnosia with two broad categories: perceptive agnosia and associative agnosia. So that's what the show gave him. But then I saw a Reddit thread, and I think this fits a little bit more. Because somebody put, is it just me or does Otokawa not actually have visual agnosia, but instead have lycanthropic intermetamorphosis, which is a little bit more in depth. So lycanthropy is an unusual belief or delusion in which the patient thinks that he or she has been transformed into an animal. In rare cases, the patient believes that another person has been transformed into an animal. So both could possibly fit. Both are real things.
Yeah, he could be suffering from both.
Something like that, yes. But the idea that we've been seeing this entire show,
and like the second it's revealed, everything adds up. Like it's a consistent thing that the show has demonstrated, that given this, like anytime he called somebody like something like a calico cat or yada yada, everybody's just like, what?
Yeah,
Like, what are you talking about?
the
Like
main
it's
thing was the main thing that got me that I'm probably gonna have to go back and look at was when he was talking to Gariki, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Shirakawa is the only one that looks like that. She's the only alpaca," or something. He says it to Gariki, and
that's
that's when
right.
he's like, hmm, "What? What?"
Yeah, she's
But
the
like,
only alpaca in the city.
yeah,
And
and
the whole my dad bought me a parakeet, and how do you have a parakeet if you're an
see,
animal? Like
I
all
knew
those types of things.
we both knew that
We
something was
both called it.
missing.
Yeah, yeah.
We both knew that there was some big thing that we're missing here, and the puzzle piece was not fitting in right. And I didn't, I'm not going to speak for you, but I did not think it was going to be on this level. I was completely just blindsided by this.
Hmm.
And some of the ending stuff, I was just like in a daze because I'm
Yeah.
like, what is happening?
No,
Because
I'd say that I'm on the same level because in the first episode, we taught when we were talking about it, I even said like I'm still waiting to see how the storytelling device of people being animals plays into the actual story, because at
you
this
did,
point if you just plug in humans nothing changes, but now you plug in humans, the entire story just changed. Now the entire story just changed
which is
actually.
so great.
Yeah.
It's so good. I can't get over the idea that the entire time we've been watching the show, we've been watching it from Otakawa's eyes, sort of. And it's so cool that anime did this whenever they go back to humans, it does the animation gets a little more refined. We
Hmm.
see a little bit more
I love all their
characteristics.
character designs as
Yeah,
humans.
and they do look like their characters. You can kind of tell
Yeah.
who's who, and it's really funny to see all these like I was like, "Oh yeah, these are the guys, but they're in human form instead of the little animals that they were." And it's like, "Oh, and Mai is so funny. He's so cute. He has the big eyes still. It's so good." But like I was just like blown away. I was
Yeah,
just what how did this happen? How did I get here? And I just
I
loved
definitely
loved it.
stood up and took a lap after this one. And then
It
it was
was a
just
lot.
like to make a direct comparison, like it's just crazy how this one I feel like had the reverse curve compared to a show that we just finished watching for the last set of episodes, Danganronpa, which started on such a high note, really good, really strong, but just over time it kind of just degraded and fell off. But here this show started not on a bad note, but it started on a very low key, low tone note, just like kind of lulls you in, and
Uh-huh.
then it just gradually goes up and up until you get hit these like last 4 episodes, honestly, and then everything starts to kind of like all the stories get bound together, and it just like, oh my god, it ends on at such a fantastic place for
Mhm.
this story compared to where we started.
Which it makes me kind of sad because I know uh, for some people this won't be
Yeah,
up their alley
no.
and they'll probably
If
stop
it
watching.
wasn't for this show, I wouldn't have finished this show probably.
Yeah, same. I can probably say that because
Yeah,
somewhere in the middle I would have been like,
yeah.
it's not, it's okay. But making it to the end, I'm so much better for it. I'm so happy that we got to the end and we got to see all the crazy. I mean, we haven't even talked about the cinematography of everybody meeting at the place and everybody having this experience of
Literally everything came
Otakawa
full circle.
going up into the air. All the characters we met somehow, all their stories ended here in front of the water. Even homie that's trying to go viral, he's taking a photo there, he's
Yeah.
vibing over there. Like all the characters that we saw are just there and they're all witnessing this one single event together but separate. And it's like, oh, that's so cool that Otakawa is the binding thing here in this anime. Without doing a whole lot. There's so many other things going along around him, and it's just he's flying. The one thing though is he went off the road and then he went like immediately up into the air, which
The
is kind
way
of funny.
the way he hit like the cement barriers, I guess I
Okay,
could see like,
launching him up.
yeah,
He should have just went boop,
some
but he went
GTA physics.
yeah, GTA physics. He went into the air like fucking Santa Claus with all the money flying out. It was
Like
so good.
ET.
Like ET, very much like ET. Oh man, they were all humans, man. Jesus Christ.
They were all
We find out
humans.
they were all humans in the end, man. See you, space cowboy. Bye. Hope you find your dad. Little Damon, we find out, was the one that shot Dobu. That's why there was a shot left for Tanaka to shoot. We find out that the tattoo guy that Odokawa's been seeing is the boss, but he, more importantly, is the tapir that helped Odokawa when he was a kid. And he continues to help. What's his story? Well, except for you two, you were always animals. What?
He's like, he's a mobster with a what's it called, with a heart of gold,
And
where
also
he does shady things, but for good reasons.
he does shady things to fund the good things that he's doing. Which, does that level it out? Maybe.
I mean, if the one rule is don't kill people,
sure.
I don't, because then it's like, well, then if you're just extorting people that are just minding their own business, that's still kind of, but like Odokawa said, he's like, I'm not here to judge you on those accounts. I'm just here to pay it forward for what I received.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Dobu didn't want to tell Odokawa the one rule, because
then all of his threats are moot.
Yeah.
Which that's another thing that could have, and I wanted to touch on it, but I forgot to. When Dobu was like threatening Odokawa initially, and he's like, I wonder how I should kill you. Should I like chop you up? Should I drown you? And I was like, you're gonna drown a walrus? Yeah, that's kind of silly. It doesn't make sense, does it? It's because he's not a walrus.
Well, I mean, because Odokawa's afraid of water too.
That's right. I forgot that it mentions that at some point.
Yeah. So Odokawa's afraid of water. So I mean, that did kind of make sense in my head, because Dobu kind of knew that. So he was like just kind of threatening him with what he's afraid of. Shiragawa dying and the water. So he's like, well, okay. We find out, that the boss was doing dirty dealings, but to help out kids and orphans and things like that, which is cool. I was like, okay, dope. Why not? Sure.
Realistic.
What do you make of Odokawa's cat? Why was that a thing? And what did that do? What do you think? I don't know. What are you thinking? Because the whole anime, there has been some suspicion to something in his closet.
Is it the landlady that feeds the cat, like she feeds the dog? Because there's the dog too, remember?
Yeah.
So the landlady feeds the pets.
The cat was still there after a bunch of days.
Yeah, but like it's fed. That's all it needs is food and litter box, I guess. Don't know where.
But like, what was he? Why was he talking to it, or was he scared of it, or like what? Kaylin made a really good really good point as well, that when we found out that he was human and he switched to seeing everything in human form, he went back home and he sort of for a moment was afraid in his home that the thing that was in his closet was a human as well. And he said, oh, just a cat. Did you catch that?
I must have missed that.
Dang. Okay. Whenever the cat finally revealed, he was like, oh, okay, cool.
I mean, I watched that happen, but I didn't even like think about it.
Yeah. So like how that made me think as well, like how many times has that happened in his life where he sees like an animal and he's like, I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a
when
I don't know if that one can talk.
When Gariki was like showing him, that's another thing, when Gariki was showing him like all those pictures and he's like, oh, who's this one? Kakihana. The one before that, what is this? And it was a bird. It's just like a bird on his phone. So he can see birds just fine. So I'd assume that he can see other animals just fine, even though he sees people as animals. But
I don't know. Maybe they meant to go some direction with that plot line, but then couldn't wrap it up. Maybe. It's also way less weird that animals have pets animals too. Yeah. So now it kind of makes sense, because we were so like, well, I was like, is that her son? Is that the landlady?
That's right. Yeah. We're like, why is there a dog out there?
Is that a real dog?
We were asking those questions, and it was providing those questions intentionally.
Mm-hmm. And with the whole bird thing, how Tanaka had a pet bird, and it's like, what? Like, what? They have pets? And it's like, okay, well, they're humans. Okay, it's just a normal thing. It was a cat all along. He didn't know if it was a real person. the replacement girl. We find out at the end, the replacement for Mystery Kiss was the one that killed the Mystery Kiss member, which
Bum
was
bum 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 bum.
which again is wild. Another big thing thrown at the end, and it was like, oh my god! And she got off scot free, and everybody else got blamed for it. She got out there, and the thing about the taxi footage is so crazy to me because I started thinking about this at the end after I finished watching. Dobu saw the taxi footage, and what was on the footage was that um, Otokawa drove somebody to the managing office, and we assumed that it was the girl that got killed. And that's why everybody wanted it because they were like, oh, he was the last one to see her, the one that's in the ocean. um we gotta figure out what's going on, but nobody saw her because it was the other girl. It was the fourth member of Mystery Kiss. So Dobu immediately dismissed it. He was like, there's nothing on there, there's nothing, it's not her. There's no visual of the girl that died. But if the Mystery Kiss manager would have gotten it, if the Mystery Kiss manager would have gotten and seen the taxi footage, he would have immediately known that that girl did something. And the thing about the information missing from this one person or these set of eyes made this whole plan go completely right for the fourth Mystery Kiss member, which was like, I was putting that all together at the end. I was like, oh, nobody saw it that could identify her. The only person that would have done it would be one of the managers or one of the Mystery Kiss girls. Why was she going to the manager office the day that the black cat died? So like that whole omission of that after the fact, I was just like, what's happening? It's so good. That was Odd Taxi.
That was an odd taxi.
Oh man.
Yeah, final thoughts.
Fine. It all
Before we
ended
rate,
well. Like
Yeah.
we were like, it always, we say this, it has to tie up all the loose ends. This show had a ton of loose ends, had a bunch of different roads to go down. How are they going to do it? It's going to either be a good one or a flop. Here we are, here at the end, and they tied everything up nice with a little bow, some insane brain blasting stuff going on in the last episode, and I am happy. I'm thoroughly overjoyed for this anime, and I'm so happy we got to watch it all together. So, what are your final thoughts for Odd Taxi?
Go watch Odd Taxi.
Why aren't you watching Odd Taxi?
Why aren't you watching Odd Taxi? That was, I really feel like moving forward, that'll be like a genre defining like show that's just going to it seems like it's slept on right now for the most part, but I think over time it's really going to build and garner a following, kind of like how the fandom for like Madoka Magica up to this day, I still see them going really strong just on their little 12 episode romp. Like, it's good stuff. If it's good stuff, it's good stuff. It's evocative, it's inspiring, it's heart touching, and I really enjoyed it.
So, if this is your first time watching the end of one of our shows, whenever we finish an anime, we rate it on 3 different scales: animation, storytelling, and vibes. And then we put it on the group. We put it on the tier list of all the anime that we watched already on the show. We've watched a ton of different anime. So, if you haven't seen all the ones, if you're like, I wonder if they've seen this one already, have they talked about it? Go back into the youtube.com/JulesTheHuman. I have a playlist full of all the podcast episodes, or Spotify, the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. You can watch all the episodes on Spotify as well. We have a ton of episodes. It's like 44 or something coming up on the big 50 sometime soon. But that's what we do at the end. And then we pick a new anime to watch for the next couple of episodes. So, Matt, what do you rate Odd Taxi on animation?
For animation, I'm giving it a strong A. It's very consistent. It seems like it does what it needs to do for every scene that's going on. There's never anything like really crazy spectacular going, but it's framed well. and it's visually interesting and distinct, especially given the fact that all the characters are animals. So that's that. How would you rate the animation?
I would say a strong A as well. Um, Again, it's not like it was, well, I'm sure animating is hard, but there wasn't any like super big fight scenes. There wasn't anything crazy to like show out and go crazy. But like even the opening sequence, the ending sequence are like interesting. They're a little quirky. It's a little fun, different style of animation, and I really like that. It grew on me, and it was like fun, and I'm like they're vibing. But throughout the show, it has been consistent, like you said. I enjoy it quite a bit. And an A, it was really good. They made the characters emote in different ways. All the characters emoted so beautifully, and I think it's an A for animation. So storytelling, what would you give storytelling?
I'm giving it an S for storytelling. I don't think that's a secret at this point for anybody that's been listening. Like you said, tons of open threads that the show could have gone down many, many directions. And it's crazy how it starts with a shot of, this body being dumped into a river. Then it just kind of lets you into this little world. And by the end of it, every single route came back around full circle, wrapped itself up all around this revolving around the main character that's been interacting with all these characters along the way, and the central mystery resolving so many of the questions that we have. um which is, what was the body and who did the things.
And it sort of ended about the body too, right? Like
Exactly.
that's
Yeah,
how it
yeah.
ended.
It started and brought everything full circle, and I was engaged with the story completely from start to finish. I was constantly like waiting for that next little bit of information to be thrown at me and to start trying to I mentioned in an earlier episode about all the puzzle pieces it was putting out and how is it all going to fit together. And by the end, we've gotten a great little finished puzzle board that looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
How would you rate storytelling?
In S as well. I mean, the way that, like you said, they led us into this world. By the end, I know how each character is kind of going to act. They give us so much backstory on a bunch of different characters. They give us some really interesting little story arcs, all the different, like I keep saying, all the different little puzzle pieces, all the different little chess pieces moving about. This person talking to this person now. This person has this information. This other person doesn't. It's insanely complex in such a small little bubble, which was really cool to see. Some really standout characters like Yano and Tanaka, all these little things that we got to see, this movement to a grand scheme that ended up being the end of Odd Taxi is just so crazy. And for the final reveal, it was something I did not expect. Like completely threw me for a loop and made me think about everything that I've seen up to that moment in a good way. Because sometimes that could be bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes that could be like, oh, they kind of uh, pull the rug out from under you, and you're like, oh, that kind of doesn't incentivize the people that are paying attention. That
It was
sometimes
a
it's like,
satisfying conclusion.
yes, it was
Mhm.
satisfying because they took into account everything we've seen, and they're like, we see your questions, we know, just let us get there.
Let us do the
And
thing.
you had to trust the anime that it was going to get there. And I got to tell you, before these 4 episodes, I was like, I don't know, there's a lot on the plate right now. I don't know how I'm going to eat all this, but I'm over here asking for seconds, you know what I mean? So it's like, S storytelling, S tier storytelling. I love it. What would you give the vibes for the
Yeah.
Odd Taxi?
Vibes are also going to be an S. Just very, and I just enjoyed it all the time. All the different like locales that we got to see, like their little ramen bar, their sauna, like everywhere. Even down there in the down there at the
The
warehouse,
wharf,
Yano's
yeah.
warehouse, inside of Otakawa's taxi. It's just all these little isolated vignette locations where you just get the characters going back and forth, and that gives you a really great sense of who all these characters are, what they want, their motives, their ideals, etc. So for me, the vibes are very much related to just all the character interactions, which is going to be S tier for me.
Yeah.
How would you rate the vibes?
S plus. It was a thinker. It was fun. It was funny at times as well. I did laugh sometimes, and I was like, "This is crazy! Like, what's happening is crazy right now. This is pretty cool." All the different situations that they got into, everything that led to this ending, all the different storylines. It was just cool. A lot of characters I really did enjoy. Like, I enjoyed a lot of characters, except for Yano's rapping sometimes. Oh, and then he didn't rap when he got like super
Boss,
flustered.
you're not rhyming.
Your rhymes, boss, your rhymes. Where do they go? It was crazy. I liked all the callbacks and all the stuff that like when you paid attention, it was like, here it is again. Here it is. You remember that? There it is. And this is what culminated from that. And it's just so rewarding. And it was such a rewarding anime to watch. Albeit it was a little fast paced, especially with dialogue, the way they were having conversations, the way they were moving about the story. But man, it was such a good anime. I had so much fun with it. It was dope. So I give it an S plus for vibes. So how do we rate Odd Taxi? What are the ratings for Odd Taxi?
Drum roll,
Let's
please.
see it right here. I put a little plus on them because it's an S plus for both of us. Odd Taxi is an S plus anime, and you should definitely go watch it if you haven't. That's our official ranking there. S plus. Me and Matt, mine on the left, Matt's on the right. S plus for this anime. Where does it rank upon the tier list here? It joins quite a few S tiers. A lot of
stuff.
We watched a lot of stuff already. On the left is me, where I put the animes. On the right is Matt, where he's put the animes there. And right up there at the top, S tier, with some really good company here. Kabaneri, The Iron Fortress, Promised Neverland, Monica Magica, all these other ones. Oh my God, we've watched so many anime. It's so good. And I'm excited to add another one to the... We've seen a lot of really good ones. We've seen some good ones. Kaylin said, I loved how, as we learned more about the characters, the opening sequence stood out more with the little things it did. Yeah, it was all there. It was all there at the beginning. We just didn't know it. Once you watched it for the last episode, it's so good. Little dancing cats, just like that. Oh my God. So it has all the characters in the opening doing what they would do.
Something.
And
yeah.
And I think on the last watch, I noticed Shirakawa doing the capoeira kick to change the frame, and I was like, oh, that's another new thing. I was like, oh yeah. Odd Taxi was great. You should go check it out. Please stick it out for the ending. It's definitely worth it. Definitely worth to go see and watch Odd Taxi. But now's the time that we say goodbye to Odd Taxi, and then we go into the anime chest for a new anime. The way we do it is we watch a couple of episodes. We'll probably watch 1 through 4 of an anime, and the next one, and the next one, and then we rate it again. So these are the anime picks here. These are the ones in the chest. Anybody that has given 500 bits during the show has put in their submission. We got some late ones here: Death Parade, ReZero, Erased, and then Matt got to add one in because mine was Odd Taxi. So we picked mine, which was Odd Taxi, and now because I got picked, Matt gets to add another one. So he added The God of High School. So here's the list. Is there any of them? Anybody in chat? What are you rooting for? What are you hoping that we get to watch next? Or we get to talk about next? Let us know in chat. Don't fuck this up, Matt. That's not nearly big enough to be an anime chest. An anime chest needs to be busty.
Scramble them.
Matt scramble
these up.
Matt's
nice and good. Nice and good.
Really found Tokyo Revengers refreshing. Hold on, don't pick yet. Oh, To Your Eternity. Okay, we have a lot here. I don't know if I have any picks.
Oh Lord, he's scrambling.
Do I have any picks in here? I don't think I do.
I think now I have 2 in there.
Yeah, that's how it is. All of these have been submitted by y'all. So thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the bits. And CZ has stacked the deck once again.
Yeah, CZ stacked the deck in his favor. Ready?
Okay. This is our next personality for the next 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay.
What is
Got it. One, just one. Woo.
Hope it's good. What is it?
Tokyo Revengers.
Tokyo Revengers.
On this
Oh,
one.
cool. Okay, I can buy the manga now that we're gonna watch it. I've been
Yeah.
holding off buying the manga because they have these like omnibuses that are really pretty, and I didn't I didn't buy them because I was like, well, I need to watch it first, and I knew it was on the list. Tokyo Revengers
This one
is
was
here. I did it,
Miss L's World submitted this one.
Yay! Have you watched Tokyo Revengers?
I have watched Tokyo
Oh,
Revengers.
okay. Pick again. I'm just kidding.
I have
so-
a lot of things to say about this show, though. I think this
Here we
one will
go.
be, I mean, in my opinion, this will be an interesting one to watch off the back of this one. For
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
I do not know anything. I heard there's some interesting things that go on. Don't know anything about this anime. So Tokyo Revengers, watch episode 1 through 4. Yeah, Claire was actually sending you mind thoughts. They were using the force to get you to do it. They're using my made the arts free.
And some bribes, you know.
Some bribes,
The bribes go a long way.
I'm
guys.
just-
Come on.
Throw some bits under the table for Matt. He's the one that picks them. Didn't work for CZ. Didn't work out for CZ.
Didn't work
So,
out for CZ. I
dang,
mean,
he
when
stacked-
when the pot gets that big, even when you're trying to stack things, it's just the pot's just that big.
We'll find out how many episodes. What? Matt is easily bribable. Ask CZ. Yeah, we got like 3 CZ picks in a row the other day.
That was crazy.
For a couple of anime episodes. But watch episode 1 through 4 of Tokyo Revengers season 1. I don't know how many seasons it is. Watch episode 1 through 4 of Tokyo Revengers, and we'll be back here next Thursday to talk about it. And we would love for you to watch as well.
Actually,
I am watching for the first time. I've never watched it, don't know anything. So we'll be watching it together, and we can come back, and we love your thoughts here on Twitch, twitch.tv/JulesTheHuman, or on YouTube, or wherever you're watching. We would love for you to watch them as well, because that's what it kind of is. It's an anime club. So we're all gonna go home, we're all gonna do our homework, and then we're gonna come back and talk about this anime.
and
So-
season 1 is 20 plus episodes long. It's 24 episodes long, but we'll
gotta find the
just be
middle.
we'll probably just be watching
The first half,
up to like 14, I think.
12 or
12, 13 or 12 or 13. Sorry,
Okay.
that's what I meant to say.
It's usually the first arc that we watch through if it's longer. So
I think 12 would be good.
Okay,
Yes,
we're watching
yes. We're gonna watch 1 through 12 of Tokyo Revengers.
1 through 12 Tokyo Revengers, 1 through 4 by next week. So watch those 4 episodes, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Matt, when you're not in an odd taxi, where can they find you?
When I'm not there, you can find me on my Twitch at Matt_Galley. You could also follow me on all my socials at ITS Matt_Galley. I currently have some things going on IRL where my schedule is gonna open up a lot, and I might start being able to do some regularly scheduled things other than the podcast as well. But
Okay.
like Jules was saying earlier in the episode, our recording date might change in the near future too because of that.
Yeah, we'll let you
So
know.
we'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, follow me on all the things, and we'll give you content. Just follow us on the stuff. When we're not when we're not braving the odd taxi, where can the people find you?
Jules the Human on everything, JULES, the Human on all social media, Jules Human on Twitch right here. You're watching us. Hi. YouTube.com/Jules the Human. I've been posting a lot of shorts, and I've been posting some Honkai stuff because I'm addicted to Honkai Star Rail. Let's see if it lasts more than 14 days. We'll see. Hopefully, spend some money on this game. Watch me pull Fushuan tomorrow. I'm going to be live for Honkai. I'm going to be pulling Fushuan. Just wish it into the universe that I'm going to pull this cute little girl. So you can watch the show on Spotify. If you have Spotify, you can watch it. You can watch the video, not just the audio. You can watch the video as well on Spotify. Just look up the Jules and Matt Anime Hour. And again, we do this show. We've been doing this show for almost 50 episodes now. So if you're like, what animes have they watched? Go back into the catalog, see all the episodes, and then go along to see if we, watched your favorite anime or whatever. Or
And if
stick
not, come here and
around.
suggest it
Yeah,
For us
suggest.
to watch.
Because we have a ton. We have a ton of suggestions. We could always use some more. That's how you do it. You get 500 bits and give it to us. It's split between me and Matt, and that supports both of us. Don't worry, Matt. If he gets in too deep, I will gag him and throw him on the base. Oh, I don't know. No.
It's working.
Thank you so much for being here. This has been the Jules and Matt Anime Hour, man, and that was an odd taxi. See you next week for episode 1 through 4 of Tokyo Revengers. Plural?
Yep.
Revengers?
Tokyo Revengers.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.